question is why Siebel business analysts need to look at the data. The reason is that there are so many requirements which need analysis, which need data analysis, which need research, and only after analyzing the data the requirement would make any sense. So a business analyst needs to look at the real data, the production data, the data entered by the users in the real environment, in the running environment, or technically saying production environment. Sometimes in my class we call it actual environment. So whatever data users are entering in that environment, business analysts need to look at that and analyze whether the requirement is making any sense or not. Example is a requirement like the revenue by month or revenue by city, which means that how much revenue the company is making in a particular month. So this report will basically show in January company made this much money, in February company made this much money, in February in March company made this much money. So these are the reports that the VPs need in order to do their job, right? Similarly, there could be another report like revenue by state, and this report will be like how much money companies making in Tennessee, in Arizona, in New York, in New Jersey, and so on and so forth. So all these reports need, for example, let's say the users come or the VP says I need this report. These is a typical example that will basically make you look into the data. For example, for the Dell revenue, so the revenue by state report, you need to look into the data and see whether for every order, wherever how much revenue is present, is the state also mentioned or not.
Yeah.
Let's say there are 2,000 orders. If out of them for 300 orders, let's say out of them for 300 orders, the state is not mentioned, then you cannot reproduce this report properly.
Yes.
So for this requirement, revenue by state report requirement, business analyst goes into data and looks at the data and makes a call whether it is a good idea to make this report or not. So he's saying whether the requirement, overall he's saying is whether the requirement makes sense or not. So whenever you get the requirement, you might have to look at the data too. You might have to look at the data, analyze the requirement with reference to the data and make a call whether it makes sense to go ahead and develop that functionality or not, develop that report or not. Okay. So as you can see in this case, clearly it is a wastage of money and time to make that report. Okay. These kind of calls you can make only by looking at the data.